At 22, Sarah never imagined her accidental pregnancy would become the center of a family drama that would haunt her for months. When she and her boyfriend Jake discovered they were expecting, panic set in immediately. Neither college student was remotely prepared for parenthood. Financially, emotionally, or practically. That's when fate intervened in the form of Fiona, Jake's cousin, whose desperate eyes held years of heartbreak. For 5 agonizing years, Fiona and her husband Marcus had endured the crushing cycle of hope and devastation that comes with infertility. Each positive test followed by devastating loss, each miscarriage more traumatic than the last, until finally her doctor delivered the words that shattered her world. She would never carry a child to term. When news of Sarah's pregnancy reached Fiona, desperation sparked an idea that would change all their lives forever. Through tear-filled conversations and sleepless nights of planning, they crafted an arrangement that seemed perfect for everyone involved. Sarah would carry the baby to term, Fiona would adopt her biological niece or nephew, and in exchange, Sarah and Jake's college tuitions would be fully paid. The contract felt cold and clinical compared to the emotional weight of what they were undertaking. Lawyers explained terms and conditions while Sarah's belly grew rounder each day, carrying not just her baby, but Fiona's dreams and Jake's future. The pregnancy months passed in a strange harmony. Fiona showered Sarah with care. Prenatal vitamins, doctor's appointments, nutritious meals, maternity clothes. She attended every ultrasound, her hands pressed against the monitor as if she could will herself closer to the tiny heartbeat that represented everything she'd ever wanted. Sarah found herself oddly comforted by Fiona's devotion, feeling less alone in an overwhelming situation. Jake proved to be an unexpected pillar of strength, holding Sarah's hand through morning sickness, assembling the crib that would never be theirs, and quietly processing his own complex emotions about giving away his first child. When labor began on a crisp Tuesday morning, the hospital room buzzed with nervous energy. Sarah gripped Jake's hand as contractions intensified, while Fiona paced the floor like an expectant father from decades past. After hours of pushing, tears, and exhaustion, baby Ophelia emerged into the world, perfect, healthy, and utterly beautiful. But in that magical moment when new life enters the world, everything went catastrophically wrong. The nurse, unaware of the adoption arrangement, instinctively placed the warm, crying baby on Sarah's chest for immediate skin-to-skin contact, a standard practice that helps newborns regulate temperature and breathing while promoting bonding. Fiona's reaction was instant and devastating. Years of pent-up trauma, fear, and maternal desperation exploded in a torrent of screaming that filled the delivery room with chaos. "She was supposed to be mine first," Fiona shrieked, her voice cracking with anguish. "Those first moments create the mother-child bond. You're stealing that from me. She'll never love me now because you touched her first." The beautiful, serene moment of birth transformed into a nightmare. Ophelia's newborn cries intensified as Fiona's hysteria filled the room. Sarah, still recovering from hours of labor and overwhelmed by hormones and exhaustion, began sobbing. Jake exploded at his cousin, his protective instincts flaring as he witnessed his girlfriend being attacked in her most vulnerable moment. "Stop screaming! You're terrifying them both," Jake yelled, positioning himself between Sarah and Fiona like a shield. Fiona collapsed into gut-wrenching sobs, too distraught to hold the baby she'd waited years to meet. Marcus quietly guided his wife from the room while Jake cradled his daughter, perhaps for the last time as her father rather than her uncle. A month later, the legal aspects proceeded as planned. Fiona and Marcus officially adopted Ophelia. Sarah and Jake's tuition bills were paid in full, and Sarah's body healed from childbirth. But the emotional wounds from that delivery room remained raw and infected. Fiona still refuses to speak to Sarah, her silence carrying the weight of perceived betrayal. The family pressures Sarah to apologize, claiming she should understand Fiona's trauma and fragile mental state. Jake stands firmly by his girlfriend, but the divide has fractured family relationships that may never heal. Now Sarah lies awake wondering, was she wrong to accept that innocent moment of skin-to-skin contact with her biological daughter? Should she apologize for something that wasn't her choice? Or was Fiona wrong to blame her for a nurse's standard protocol during the most vulnerable moment of Sarah's life? The baby they all love is thriving, but the adults who brought her into the world remain broken by a single moment that changed everything. What do you think? Should Sarah apologize to keep the peace, or was Fiona wrong to blame her? Share your thoughts. This complex situation has divided families, and we'd love to hear your perspective.